Are we good?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh. How's it going, Pokemon Factory? My name is Nick, and I'm your coach of the Philadelphia Pincers. And I'm coming to you with another season, another video of summing up the regular season and moving into the postseason. This season has been great. It's been season 4. And I am joined today with a good buddy of mine who joined me back in season 2 when I was hosting this league, and Coach Peter in the New York Fire Dogs. Pete, say hi.
What's up, Pokemon Factory? It's playoff time. Let's go.
Yeah, it definitely is playoff time. And we have 12 teams who made that playoff this season. We had a 12-team final cut, and it was a nail biter up until the very end. Uh, Two teams missed out just by one, and it looks like 3 differential points
Yeah.
a piece, and that really sucks. But it just lights that fire up underneath of them to get come back and do better next season. And I'd love to have both of them back, and I'm sure that I won't have a problem getting either of them back in the league at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, going into the top 12 teams that made the playoffs, we are going to start from the 12th seed and move our way up to the ranked number 1 team, who I think managed to make rank number 1 in that very last week, which is pretty incredible. Starting with number 12 is the San Diego Super Charizards and Coach Eric. 11 being the All-American Breejects and Coach Rolando. The Nerdy Nido Kings and Coach Cody. The Aussie A-Palms and Coach Tim. The Clearwater Magmar and Coach Anthony. The Magnolia City Gengar and Coach Jared. The San Diego Wingulls and Coach Kasem. The Florida Freedom Fighters and Coach Zach, and he is the reigning champion, so it's good that he didn't get that first round bye. Moving into those with the first round bye are myself and the Philadelphia Pincers, Coach Chris and his Shikatimi Shurikens, Coach Pete and his New York Fire Dogs, and our number 1 seed, and Coach Casper and the Serene Grace Shockwaves. Yeah, I mean, all 12 teams definitely have earned their spot. It came down to the very last week to see what some of the teams would be in the playoffs, and we have some newcomers to the play. We have a lot of newcomers to the playoffs in general. I think the only repeats that I see from last season, are the 4 of us that got the buys, and then Rolando, Kasem, and Zach, if I'm not mistaken. I think the other, what is that? 1, 2, 3,
5.
4, 5 teams are newcomers. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. We always like to see new faces in the playoffs, new blood.
Yeah.
Just looking at those first round matchups, it's typical seeding. 5 plays 12, 6 plays 11, 7 plays 10, and 8 plays 9. That means that the Florida Freedom Fighters and Coach Zach will take on the San Diego Super Charizards and Coach Eric. The San Diego Wingulls and Coach Kasem will take on the All-American Breejects and Coach Rolando. The Magnolia City Gengar and Coach Jared will take on the Nerdy Nido Kings and Coach Cody. And the Clearwater Magmar with Coach Anthony will take on the Aussie A-Palms and Coach Tim. Pete, are there any games that you're looking forward to in that first round of the playoffs, not including the people who have buys?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really interesting that the last 2 seasons champions are playing in the first round. So I will definitely have my eye on Coach Zach and Kasem, but in particular, the Breejects and the Wingles, Rolando and Kasem. I think it's going to be an awesome battle. I can't wait to see it. So very excited for that one.
Yeah, for sure. One game that I'm really looking forward to is this matchup between the Nerdy Nido Kings and the Magnolia City Gengar. I think that you and I both agree that they probably are the most improved 2 teams in the league. And it's great that one of them will still make it to the quarterfinals because they will
Yeah.
be playing each other in this first round. Another coach that I have my eye on is Coach Tim and his Aussie A-Palms. I really like his team. I know that he came up from the G2 league that was being ran, and I don't recall who was the champion of that league, uh, but he was definitely in, I think, the championship match,
He was, yeah.
which he's definitely grown as a battler. I think you know more about his story than I do, though.
Yeah, I mean, just when uh, Admin Fletch, Billy started that league, he pulled a few of us in, quote unquote veterans to just try and say, because everybody in that league was new. If you need any help, you could reach out. So me and Tim caught up early on in that season. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but when I first talked to him, he already did a few battles, and I was like, oh, well, let me see your battles, how you're doing. He had Snorlax on his team, who was his Gigantamax Pokemon. He belly drummed and was in max attack, and then Dynamaxed and clicked a fire move that was super effective, and it did about 10%. I was like,
Ooh.
It's like, Tim, what's the set? And he's like, well, flamethrower. And I'm like, ah. So that's how we started off. And like in my head, I was like, this is gonna be rough. And he kind of just, whenever I threw at him, he soaked in. He ran off a bunch of wins, made it to the finals, had a great match. Now here he is in the quote unquote big leagues and with a playoff spot and a strong team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think there's one team that I would in the playoffs that I would say has a weak team, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but his is definitely strong. I will say that.
I agree.
Let's see. Let's move on to I guess let's go to the kill leaderboard. Let's see what happened there.
No surprise you wanted to bring that up. Jesus.
Well, when you go off, you go off.
That's right.
So
plus 15. Goddamn.
Looking at the kill leaderboard, we have the top 5. 3 teams make up that top 5, and it's myself, Chris, and Bash, who did not make the playoffs, is in there with the Electivire, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that Dragapult has 2 deaths, or he only has 2 deaths, yes,
Yeah.
which is why he has that plus 15. And both of those deaths came in both of my losses this season. So when I won, he never died.
Right.
But he also didn't come to every single matchup either, which is, I guess, surprising in its own. Do you see any mons that stand out to you in those top 5 that you maybe initially didn't think would be there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hippowdon sticks out just as a bulky mon. I mean, you expect a strong kill death differential because it's very hard to kill, but for it to actually have 12 kills itself, I think it's just an ode to how Coach Chris and his Shurikens played this season. But number one in my heart is Vash and that Electivire. It's an underrated Pokemon in general. For a team, Bash didn't make the playoffs. I believe he finished 4-6. To have a 4-6 season and to take a lower tier Pokemon and I mean get 11 kills and only 4 deaths throughout the season, there's definitely credit to Bash and how he played it, and super cool to see Electivire in the midst of Dragapults and Kirums.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Electivire, it definitely made me gain respect for it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that it had the diverse coverage. I knew that it has motor drive. But the way that he's used it this season in conjunction with his rain core has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, putting something with motor drive on a team with Politoed, and I think his rain sweeper was Ludicolo, is absolutely phenomenal because you just switch in on that electric type attack and you got that speed boost now, and it's basically like you have Swift Swim on the Electivire, and like it hits hard,
Yeah.
regardless of what it's like. It could be Life Orb, Assault Vest, whatever have you. It hits hard, and now it's super in. I think it's like base 90 speed to begin with, so it's already pretty fast.
Yeah, super cool. Big shout out to Bash and that team, man.
Yeah. And then looking at the list a little bit further down, I see that Azu had a breakout game. I think it was clean sweep, 6 kills in one game,
Mm,
and then just picked up a few more kills from there. And then as soon as you picked up Nidoqueen, started putting in so much
yeah,
work, and you managed to get 9 kills out of that as well.
for sure.
Is there one over the other that you might favor and think about picking up again in another draft league?
I think so. If I had used a Azumarill more, I think for sure I could have had it in that top five in the kill leader. With Azumarill, I think there's always gonna be like situations when it's amazing, situations when it's solid, and situations where it's just not great, but you could still bring it. And that would be like a choice band set where it's just a revenge killer. You know, you can kind of ignore whatever Pokemon your opponent has, and it'll be okay. So it's a little more situational. If there's one thing I learned about Nidoqueen and King this gen is their coverage combined with sheer force is just a total breaker. It's just amazing that the coverage that you can put out. There's just so few checks to all the different moves, and the fact that you don't need to run a choice item. So it's like you can send something in, but if I'm still faster, I'm gonna hit that for super effective too. Um, I really never realized how strong those two Pokemon were. I actually made my bid to Coach Cody and the Nerdy Nidokings like all season long to trade me Nidoking, and after I didn't get it, I said, "Screw it," and I went and got the Queen, and it has been absolutely amazing. So I will definitely have it on my radar next season.
Yeah, for sure. I think one mon that stands out to me in this bottom is Cinchino
Mm,
being a tier 5 mon and just putting in so much work because it gets access to things like that skill link and you compare it with a multitude of items. It's and it has the move pool to take advantage of the skill link. So it's got Tail Slap, it's got Rock Blast, Bullet Seed.
mm-hmm.
Uh, what's the ice one?
Triple Axle.
I'm drawing. What is it?
Triple Axle.
Yes, yes, triple axle. I don't think I've used that this gen to be honest with you. Uh, but yeah, and Jared just made clean work of it when he
Mm,
came in and took over. So I'm glad that he likes that mon and he's found a home with it. It's pretty cool seeing a tier 5 mon do so much work.
for sure. It's almost to me, it's almost like Tinchito's like a representation of Jared. It's just this lower tiered Pokemon that I mean, really like it was always like solid, but like it got good this gen. Like Triple Axle made it like a viable threat, and that's kind of how Jared was this season. He's somebody that's developed so much as a player. I've personally watched all his battles since he came in and took over the team this season. He's played super well, and I've witnessed Tinchino have a huge impact on his season. So credit to him and how he's using it.
Yeah. Um just to give a big shout out to both him and Kasem, who came in and took over two teams that where their coaches had dropped
Mm,
and still ended up making the playoffs. It goes to show like you can come in, just make a few changes, and a team can definitely be yours. And it's always good to see that and have people who weren't initially keen on joining the league because they just didn't have the time commitment at the beginning come in, make that time commitment, and finish up the season and still go into the postseason.
for sure, definitely big credit to them and big shout out for stepping up. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hassan came in with this team on a with a 3 game losing streak from the previous owner not running it well and then not showing up to battle. Um, got a quick win, and then I battled him, and we had an insane battle that went to timer. Uh, it finished 5-4 in my favor. I mean, that's a real tough spot. You come in, you take this team that's already losing, you lose a late season match, and you know there was no assurance of him to even make it into the playoffs, and he finished out the season strong. Him and Bash had a big Week 10 match that he pulled out. So and now he has the time, right? He kind of got thrown into and had to get these battles done real quick, but now he has the time to prep and gear up for these battles. And as we saw in season 2, he can do it in the playoffs. He can do it in the playoffs. He can take it all the way there. So shout out to the Wingles and Cassim.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Something that I noticed going like when I was just preparing for this
Mm,
uh, is there are a handful of teams, the Super Charizards, the where'd you go, Jared? The Gengars,
hmm
the Shurikens, yourself, all have Mons on their team that came to every single game. And we've talked that that could be a detriment, but what are your, I guess, what are more thoughts that you have about bringing Amon to every single game this season? Does it make you easier to prep for? What do you think?
I think it does. I mean, like the first part of prep, like I can't look at if I'm battling Eric and the Super Charizards. If I want to prep for it and think, okay, what am I going to bring? Yeah, and look at his 10 Pokemon. Like the first thing you think about is what six are coming, right? Because like you're going to prep way different for Flareon than you are Crobat, right? So first you kind of have to hone in and take your best educated guess on the six that are coming. So when you see somebody's bringing the same Pokemon every single battle, you'd be foolish to not prep for it. So it does take that initial thought process out of it, where you can just okay, I'm putting these three mons on. So I do think it makes it easier in that sense. However, I don't think that makes the battle any easier. When you have Eric bringing Rillaboom to every single battle, and you have Jared bringing Landorus to every single battle, and you have myself bringing Zapdos and Christopher bringing Hippowdon, just because you know it's coming doesn't mean you're going to stop it. You can know what time, you know, a car accident's going to happen. That doesn't mean you're going to survive it, So that was probably a bad analogy, but it sounded good in my head. But you know what I mean? Like, you can look at it and say, like, okay, I know Chris is bringing Hippowdon. Have fun killing it. It doesn't really change that aspect of it. So I do think it kind of saves you time, but I wouldn't say it makes the battle easier.
Yeah, especially for the Hippo. The Hippo's a bulky boy or a bulky girl, I guess,
Yeah,
depending
jeez.
on what you decide to bring.
Absolutely. Wasn't he
Let's see.
on Zach's team last season? Last season's champion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I over prepped for it in the championship match, and it didn't come.
Wait, hold on. So let's talk about this. So you just asked me about how does it feel about when the Pokemon comes every match. I'm pretty sure Zach used it every single battle last season. So you go in and prep for it, and it didn't come. So hey, if there's anybody's paying attention, Zach played a little mind game last season that paid off. So
And then there's me. Like I don't try to play those mind games.
mm,
I tell you straight up at the beginning of the season, I am bringing every single Mon at least once,
yeah,
and then more than likely I'm not bringing my tier ones 1 or 2 weeks out of the season.
yeah. Shout out to Orbeetle.
Orbeetle only has one game because he got picked up late, or she got picked up late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for some playoff appearances. I'm gonna let my opponents know that now, so be prepared.
Prep for the Orbeetle, guys.
They don't even know, Pete. They don't even know. Oh man. So in is there anybody that you don't want to play
Mm.
out of that first round of playoffs?
Um, I mean, just looking at the 12 teams in general, like I think it is fun to play all the teams. Obviously, we have 18 teams and 10 weeks, so playing everybody isn't guaranteed. Um, so like I played Christopher and the Shurikens week one, and we had a 3-3 slugfest that I pulled out the win on. I do not want any part of redoing our battle. I'm sure if you ask him, he'd say the same thing. I think we both prepped good, and we brought our optimal teams, and we just it was like an immovable force hitting the unstoppable force hitting the immovable object, and it was brutal. So I don't want that again. I would like to play Casper. He kind of took that first place from me there in the last couple of weeks. Thanks to Zach and the Freedom Fighters and my loss there. And I haven't played Casper yet this season. So I mean, I would like to play Casper, and basically anybody I haven't played yet. Just Pokemon
Fair enough.
wise, I definitely don't want to play the Apoms. I don't want to deal with the Celesteela. I just don't. So, but yeah, I would say the Shurikens is the one team I don't want to play.
Okay.
How
Fair
about you?
enough. Fair enough.
How about you?
Uh, I don't want to play the two teams that I'm most likely to play.
It's
Uh,
not good.
yeah, I don't want to play Zach, and I don't want to play Kasem.
Mm.
I beat Zach in the regular season, which just made me feel great. I have that win over last season's champion, and I beat the team that Kasem took over for. And I have hold on, let me see if I okay, yes. I have yet to lose to Kasem in a draft league match. Knock
Wow.
on wood. Uh, and I know that he's gunning for me.
Mm.
I beat him in the regular season in season 2, and I beat him in the playoffs last season to advance myself to the championship, which that felt great as well. Taking it always feels great taking down a champion.
For sure.
Uh, just but team wise, I I agree with you. I don't want to take on Tim. His Celesteela is a bulky thing, and it can come in so many different ways. But I also want to put Tim to the test, and I really want to see how he plays. He's one person I have yet to battle ever, whereas I think everybody I've battled everybody else in playoffs round one.
Mm.
The only person that's in the playoffs I have never battled is someone who had your card last season, and you took him the timer this season in week 1, and that is Coach Chris and the Chickatimi Shurikens. I've never played him in a single draft league, and I've been in, I think, 2 FDL seasons with him, PPK, VGC team or league,
Yeah. Wow.
and ECDL league. I have yet to play him, and I think that's a goal for mine. I would love to do it in the championship if at all possible.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
We'll see if we can both make it there.
At this point, it's like a running meme, though. You guys never battling. Whenever it does happen, and we'll be hyped though.
For sure. And it'll probably be overhyped at that point, and it'll be like the worst battle ever.
Yeah.
Because we'll probably both play drunk, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that works.
Sign me up.
I'm trying to think. Were there any transactions this season that really made you be like, "Whoa, this guy's serious," or "Whoa, is this guy serious? Like, why is he dropping this for this?"
Um, I mean, there were definitely a few. I would say. Um, I thought Billy, the Lincoln Rocks had a really solid team. Um, in fact, I think he had the. I'm trying to see if that's right. I forgot. We made the video in the beginning of before the season started after our draft. And I'm pretty sure I shouted out his team. It was like super offensive, and
Yeah.
I really liked it. And then he made some moves, a bunch of moves that kind of surprised me. But I think we're good. Picking up Zygarde, who I mean, for me was easily the best free agent. And Weavile, he made some really strong moves where I was like, like this team is really getting over the top, scary. Um, I mean, Bash picking up that Electivire top 5 in the kill leader, obviously a huge move by him. And I will say the who picked up the Casper picking up Clefable. He picked this mon up super late, and then has 7 kills and 0 deaths right now. He already had a strong team, and now he has arguably one of the best Pokemon and non-Uber Pokemon in the format on his team.
Yeah, that's one I was like, I really regretted letting Clefable go. Like I've told you, it was offered to me by Bash before he let it go, and I liked what Grim was doing for my team. And then I saw who decided to pick up Clefable, and I was like, "Ooh, I really messed up. I should have just taken it,
Yeah.
and it would have been fine." Uh, one one transaction, I guess, that it didn't make any headway in the league, but when I saw it, I was really questioning it. It was when Cody dropped Charizard for Altaria, and I don't think Altaria came at all uh, during the season. I don't remember ever seeing it in a match, and his sheet. No, it came to 3 games. I don't remember seeing it,
Yeah,
but
it's funny. Me
I
neither.
think Altaria yeah, I think Altaria is a difficult mon
Yeah.
to play with. It definitely takes some finagling. I've played with it in gens past, especially when I had the Mega, which made it so much better.
Yeah.
But I've also played with just a regular Altaria as well, and it's not easy to use. So when he dropped Charizard, who is like probably one of the easiest mons to just slap on a team or
Yeah.
just pick a move set for and use it for Altaria, I was like, whoa, all right, let's see what he can do with it. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see a single match with it, even though it came. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look for those.
Yeah. I mean, you never know with Cody. That's also the guy that dropped single strike your Shifu, who, I mean, is literally an Ubers at this point. It's so damn good. So, you know, it was like he was struggling with it. I think he used it one time and had 2 kills, no deaths, and helped him get a win, and then he dropped it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
Blaziken helped me pull out the narrowest of victories against Rolando earlier in the season, and I dropped it. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, got to do what you got to do to the overall picture of your team.
yeah, for sure. So to wrap this up, do you have any questions for me?
I do have a couple things. First,
Okay.
I want to know, we've had a great 4 seasons in the Factory Draft League. It only gets better and better every season, in my opinion. So, is there anything you can tell us about season 5?
About season 5, it will be a little bit of ways. I'm working on some things that hopefully drive up the competitiveness and allow us to really not go as hyper offensive with our team so that we can use more, I guess, stall tactics, but I still don't want to see people stall. It's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun to see a game go to 80 turns because I can stall with the best of them. Uh, I can tell you for sure there will be no Dynamaxing, no Gigantamaxing. I like that a lot. It makes you use your whole team more because I remember last season Kaparaja came to every single match because as soon as you don't bring your G Max, you're up the creek without a paddle. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
you're already down. You're basically down one mon because your opponent likely brought theirs, and it's just going from there.
Agreed. I
And
think it's been great without the maxing.
I think if I can figure out a way to get everybody on board with land play, that's the best way to go. Uh, and I'm tinkering around with some ideas of maybe throwing in some legendaries
Ooh,
as a tier. I don't know yet.
okay.
I've the idea's been thrown out there to me several times, and I've definitely mulled it over. I just don't want it to be too broken like the Max was.
Okay, well, we definitely look forward to learning more about what you have in store. And lastly, you can't pick yourself. Gun to your head. Who's gonna take home the season 4 championship?
Can't pick myself. I think it's gonna be Coach Casper. To be honest with you, it's kind of corny to say the number one seed's gonna take home the championship because, well, I don't think that's happened yet in any of my leagues that I've ran. But Casper has the team to do it. He has the mentality to do it. He's a scary coach to prep for, a scary coach to go up against.
For sure.
So I definitely think it's going to be him. Who do you think is going to take home the championship?
Oof. I mean, probably the Fire Dogs if I had a bet, but beside besides them, I gotta go with the guys that have done it, who have proven it. Zach and Cassim, I could see a big run coming from either of them. Um, I think any of us highlighted here in green that have the first round bye, there's no shoe in when you battle them anytime, anywhere. So, and like I said, I think Cassim's just getting warmed up. So he's got my vote
Oh, cool. Nice. I like to see that someone who didn't get that first round by. I like the underdog stories. They're always fun.
for sure.
All right, Pete. Well, thank you for joining me and recording this for us.
No doubt.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Take care, Pokemon Factory. Keep an eye out for playoff videos.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.